Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Is Savannah Chrisley dating Matt Stell after Nick Kerdiles split? She says. A candid response. While discussing her love life, Savannah Chrisley weighed in on rumors that she is dating Matt Stell. During an appearance on SiriusXM's The Highway late last month, Chrisley, 25, was asked about her connection with the country singer, 38, after starring in his 2018 Prayed For You music video. No, we didn't date. I was still very engaged, the reality star said, referring to her ex-fiancé Nick Kerdiles according to E! News. Then that ended pretty quickly which, I got feeling about that one. Since calling off her engagement, the Growing Up Chrisley star revealed she did go on a date with Stell before they decided they were better off as friends. He's just an awesome person, she added. The waters were definitely tested. You got to date to know where you got to land. Chrisley also admitted that she never watched the music video, which starred her and Kerdiles, 28. I don't even like to hear the song anymore. You can't take people you're in a relationship with to your favorite restaurants, your favorite vacation spots, because then you might break up and it ruins it, she explained. Viewers of Chrisley Knows Best were introduced to Kerdiles after he started dating the Georgia native in November 2017. The pair, who met on Instagram, got engaged in April 2019, but later decided to postpone their wedding. We made the decision together. We both realized that things moved way too fast and we needed to go back to dating. The fashion designer explained on the Chrisley Confessions podcast in June 2020. I just knew we had to work on things on a different level. We had to dig deeper, and it's hard. 3 months later, Chrisley announced her split from the former athlete. Nick and I have decided to call it quits, she wrote via Instagram at the time. There's no hatred between the two of us. And in all honesty, that makes saying goodbye even harder. We have nothing but love, respect, and admiration for one another, but it's time for us to move forward individually. At the time, the TV personality noted that she wasn't ruling out a possible reconciliation. Nick and I were on good terms. We're both so young and ambitious, and we're trying to find our way in life, she exclusively told Us Weekly in November 2020. No decision is ever permanent, so you never know what can happen. We have the rest of our lives to figure things out. Savannah Chrisley had never imagined that love, already complicated on a normal day, could feel even more like a minefield when you lived your life in front of cameras, millions of watchful fans, and an army of people waiting for your next move. But there she was, standing backstage at a Nashville charity concert, trying to decide whether it was fate, déjà vu, or just really terrible timing that country singer Matt Stell kept finding excuses to bump into her. It had been months since the heartbreaking loss of Nick Kerdiles, her longtime ex and someone she had loved deeply. His passing had changed her in ways she could hardly put into words. Dating wasn't something she was even sure she was capable of anymore. Healing felt messy. Hope felt fragile. And yet there was Matt. Tall, charming, humble in a way that didn't feel rehearsed. He had a habit of smiling at her like he wasn't looking at a reality star or a podcast host, but just a girl standing in the Tennessee sunshine. But Savannah wasn't naive. Public whispers had already started the moment the two were spotted at a charity gala, laughing a little too loudly, sitting a little too close. Fans had theories. Blog posts were forming. And Savannah knew she had to face the music sooner rather than later. So when she sat down for her weekly, Unlocked podcast taping, she decided she might as well tell the truth. Or at least the truth she was ready to say out loud. Okay, y'all. Savannah sighed into the microphone, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Her producer looked up sharply. She could practically hear the fans leaning closer to their phones. No, she said with a tiny laugh. I am not officially dating Matt Stell. And before you go running to a headline generator, hear me out. She went on, explaining how they'd met, how their paths kept crossing, how it felt good, almost shockingly good, to connect with someone without the weight of expectations or labels. But what she didn't share was what happened the night before. The night that changed the rumors. Savannah had attended a charity event Matt was headlining. When he stepped on stage and started singing Prayed For You, something in her chest tightened. Not because she thought the song was about her, but because it reminded her of the kind of love she used to believe in. After the show, Matt found her in the wings, guitar still slung across his back. You okay? He'd asked gently. Yeah, she lied. He studied her, the way someone does when they've already decided to care whether they should or not. You don't have to be fine all the time. Savannah blinked back tears she didn't see coming. She'd spent so long being the strong one, through her parents' prison sentences, raising Grayson and Chloe, rebuilding her life piece by piece. She forgot what it felt like to let someone in. "I don't really know how to do this anymore," she whispered. Matt gave her a soft half-smile. "Then start small. Start with a conversation." And they did. For hours. About grief, about music, about God, about healing. About Nick, because Matt didn't dance around his name, didn't pretend the past didn't exist. "He mattered," Matt said. "People don't disappear just because life moves." It was exactly what she needed to hear. By the end of the night, he walked her to her car. Savannah expected an awkward goodbye, maybe a polite hug. Instead, Matt simply placed a hand over his heart and said, "When you're ready to smile for real again, I'd be honored to be standing anywhere near you." It wasn't pressure. It was permission to heal at her own pace. Back to the podcast. Savannah leaned closer to the mic, speaking more softly now. "Look, Matt is a wonderful guy. Truly. And we've enjoyed spending time together. He's funny, he's respectful, he's kind in ways that aren't loud. But I'm also still healing. I'm still figuring out who I am without the chaos, without trying to hold the whole world together." The comments were already blowing up on her live stream feed. "OMG, they're cute, just date him. Savannah deserves happiness. Nick would want her to move forward, blue heart. Matt and savvy Stell, calling it now." She smiled at the flood of support, but shook her head. "I'm not closing any doors," she continued. "But I'm not rushing through any either. Real love, the kind that lasts, deserves patience." And that was the truth. She wasn't dating Matt Stell. Not officially. Not yet. But she wasn't saying no either. Meanwhile, Matt had his own thoughts. Across town, Matt sat in his truck listening to her podcast live. He hadn't planned to, but his phone had lit up with texts from fans before she even finished the intro. When she said his name, his heart did something he didn't expect. It flipped. Not in the teenage crush way, but in that "oh no, this might actually matter" way. By the time Savannah finished talking, Matt found himself smiling at the windshield like an idiot. "Not officially," he repeated to himself with a quiet laugh. There was hope there. A door cracked open. And he was patient. If there was one thing a songwriter understood, it was timing. The moment that set Nashville buzzing again. 2 days later, paparazzi spotted Savannah and Matt getting coffee at a quiet Brentwood cafe. They weren't holding hands. They weren't kissing. They were just talking, laughing softly, leaning toward each other a little too naturally. But sometimes chemistry speaks louder than touch. The photos went viral in under an hour. Savannah saw them online later that night and rolled her eyes, but she didn't panic. Not this time. Instead, she texted Matt. "Savannah, looks like Nashville thinks we're getting married next week. Matt, guess we better pick a cake flavor then." She sent a laughing emoji. Then paused. Then typed, "Savannah, for the record, I like talking to you too." Matt stared at the message, his smile slow and easy. "Matt, good. Because I'm not going anywhere. So, are they dating?" Savannah Chrisley wasn't ready to slap a label on it. She wasn't ready to let the world decide what step she should take next. But she was ready to feel hope again. To laugh. To breathe. To let someone see her whole heart, broken pieces and all. And Matt Stell wasn't offering a whirlwind romance or tabloid drama. He simply offered a safe place to land. Sometimes, that's how real love begins. And if the world wanted answers, well, Savannah would say, just give it time. God's got the story. I'm just living it.